Hi there, Bones here. Here at the Bitter Sports Network, we have a threefold mission. 1. To entertain you. 2. To inform you. And 3. To orchestrate a communist takeover of the government of the state of North Carolina. Now, we haven't made much progress on number 3. Come to think of it, we might not have made that much progress on number 1 either. Anywho, but number 2, yes, to inform you. That is the purpose of this video. Today, we'll be looking at hitting stats. Now, unlike that video I did a few weeks ago on pitching stats, hitting stats are all pretty useful to some degree or another. But the purpose of this one is going to be to show you which hitting stats are the most useful for either your fantasy baseball league or just for your personal enjoyment. Let's get started with... Batting average is a simple statistic to calculate. Take the total number of hits a player has and divide that by his total number of official at-bats. The stat is marginally useful. It doesn't take into account walks, hit by pitches, or sacrifice hits. Average can really only tell you a tiny portion of a batter's story. For example, last year, Ichiro Suzuki of the Mariners and Albert Pujols of the Cardinals had almost identical batting averages. But Pujols is a much more valuable player because he hits for power. He had 42 home runs compared to Suzuki's 6. In short, what you need is a statistic that doesn't just calculate how many hits a player has, it also calculates his power. I wonder if such a statistic exists. The slugging percentage of a player is calculated by taking his total number of bases and dividing that by his number of official at-bats. In essence, it's a measure of how much power a player hits for. Home runs are worth 4 total bases, triples are worth 3, doubles worth 2, and singles worth 1. Walks, hit by pitches, and sacrifice flies, again, do not count. Now, slugging is a great indicator of batter power, and as a result, it's a much more useful metric than just batting average alone. Perhaps you're longing for a statistic that actually factors in things like walks and being hit by a pitch. I know if I took a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to the back, I'd like it to count somewhere. Well, in that case, on-base percentage is the statistic for you. It factors in hits, walks, and hit-by-pitch numbers, and divides those by at-bats, walks, hits by pitch, and sacrifice flies. In short, it's a measurement of how good a player is at getting on base. Don't underestimate the importance of a walk. They're almost as good as a single, and they're a lot rougher on a pitcher, who has to throw 4 pitches to get a walk, and usually more than that. On-base percentage is therefore a much useful metric than just batting average. Power hitters are more often than not walked instead of just thrown to, which can make them much more valuable than those guys who tap singles out to the outfield, but then have to rely on other players to bring them home. Batting average with runners in scoring position. It's a useful stat, but it is way overemphasized. I know this is going to offend some of you. I don't care. Look, you don't want your work performance evaluated solely on how you do from, say, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon on every second Tuesday, do you? No? Oh, well, then why on earth would you do that to a baseball player? I'm just throwing it out there. Look, a player's batting average with runners in scoring position is a good metric of, let's say, how many RBI he's going to get, but it's not going to indicate how good he is at baseball. Players don't get that many opportunities. I mean, the best ball players in the world only get a hit about 1 every 3 trips to the plate. It's the same thing with postseason batting average. Players who don't perform well, quote-unquote, in the postseason are often labeled chokers. And as much as I hate the Yankees, I have to take a moment to defend Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod has 8,826 career at-bats. Now, of those 8,826 career at-bats, 276 of them have been in the postseason. A-Rod is a lifetime .303 hitter. He is not a choker. He is one of the best hitters in baseball still after 17 years. But in his 9 postseason appearances, he has only a .290 batting average. Wait a minute, that's not that big of a difference. Why label him a choker? Oh, because he came up short his first few postseason series. Then, idiots like to attest the fact that he's hitting well, closer to his average, to the fact that he's dating Kate Hudson or being fed popcorn by Cameron Diaz. Look, people, if a player is hitting worse than average in the postseason, that means that the next time he goes there, he'll probably close in on his average. If a player's hitting, better than average in the postseason, that means that he's due for a fall. It does not mean he is choking. It means that, oh my gosh, we're basing a player's entire career on 200 at-bats versus 8,000 at-bats. Which one's going to carry more weight? If you said 200 at-bats, go listen to Tim McCarver and never come back to this blog. Okay? Thanks.
Oh, baby, you got what I need.
RBI really just tells you how good the guys in front of a player are at getting on base. Doesn't tell you all that much about him. Think about it. You could butt your way to a 20 or 30 RBI season and still be a lousy hitter. So keep that in mind the next time someone mentions RBI as grounds for Player of the Year awards.
Oh, baby, you got what I need.
VORP, a player's value over replacement player, is, for my money, the #1 statistic out there. You see, VORP tells you how many more runs a player is worth than a replacement level player from the AAA level. Now, why that's a big deal? Well, to be honest with you, VORP is one of the few level statistics out there. It's been adjusted for position and for year. VORP is calculated completely differently for pitchers, catchers, first baseman, and so on. And the way VORP is calculated changes from year to year. There's not a hard and fast rule. Now, why would you do that? Well, think about it. Baseball changes every single year. A home run in 2010 was actually worth more than a home run in, say, 1998, 1997, when everybody, including the hot dog vendor, was on steroids. And a home run in those years is worth much less than a homer in 1923 or 1919, when balls generally didn't leave the park at all. So you see, VORP provides a level statistical tool. It's a way we can actually measure how good, say, Babe Ruth in his prime was versus Albert Pujols now. Now, a lot of old school baseball writers don't like VORP, mostly because it sounds funny and because it's a, sort of hoodoo statistic that tries to tell you how good a player is using a single number. Well, look, that's willful ignorance, and I cannot abide by that. But understand that no one of these statistics should be used to tell you how good a player is. You have to use them together. Use VORP, use batting average, RBI, home runs. All of them put together will tell you how good a player is. And that's really the purpose of this blog. Don't ignore a statistic because it's newfangled, nor should you ignore a statistic simply because it's old school. Unless, of course, it's wins or saves, because those are still useless. Let's see, that's all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please put them below in the comments section. Got any questions, complaints, or spam emails, shoot them off to bittersportsnetwork@gmail.com. We're planning a special opening day blowout for Thursday. Hope you guys will come back and watch that. For now, that is all. Have a good one. Bye.
Gotta write you a letter. Gotta write you a book. I wanna see your reaction. Wanna see how it looks from way up on your cloud. Well, you've been hiding out. Well, are you getting somewhere?
No Mangler, no Sergio, no Duckling, no Mr. Friday. What can I say? I'm awesome.